What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the Wallet Monkey channel where we give you all the credit intel you need to grow your wallet. Today what I want to talk about is this ongoing topic that we're going to talk more about, which is the hunt for yield. So what's going on right now, I would say not just in the United States but all over the world, is that there's been a lot of money that was printed since COVID, right? 40% of the US dollar has been printed in the last 18 months, which is a monumental amount, right? And if you look at just the history of fiat currencies and how long they last, they don't really last that long, 50, 80 years, right? So we're already, I guess you could consider, on borrowed time. So if the thing you gotta ask yourself is, if banks were doing a great job with offering rates, high yield savings accounts were doing their job, even equities markets, even if they were doing their job, you would not have such a huge amount of people running towards speculative assets and throwing huge amounts of money and gambling, right? And that's what we've seen since the very first stimmy check, is that we've seen crypto completely blow up and hit $69,000. And we've seen equities markets completely blow up. We had the GameStop situation. We've had a couple other small little run on Wall Streets since then. But it's clear that people are looking for some sort of yield. They're looking for some sort of return. And that return has to outsize and outpace inflation. Now, whether you believe that inflation is 6.8%, like being reported by the CPI, or that it's more than that, depending on what model that you use. Actually, what's interesting is the old model that they used in the 1980s puts us somewhere around 15%, which seems to be more in line with what you're actually feeling in the store, in your wallet, around the United States, right? So anyways, it doesn't really matter. But the point is clear that people have been taking the stimulus checks, the unemployment, the extended unemployment, and trying to put that to work for them. This is important because this is a personal finance channel, so we should be discussing these things, right? Now, I know that it's a little bit out of the wheelhouse of what we normally talk about, but just know that I keep up and stay up on these macro pieces quite a bit, actually. So, all right, here is the savings rate. This is just another way to look at this. There's another chart which isn't so exciting, but this one is a little bit more detailed, so I like it. What it shows is these two spikes here. This is the first COVID stimulus, and I think this is like the second one. So basically what we saw was a huge spike in savings, personal savings, meaning consumers' savings amounts, yeah? And what's happened since is that amount, or that rate, has fallen all the way back down to, let's call it this trend line, which is what they're expressing here. This dotted line is, I guess you could call that a trend line. And so it's fallen back all the way down to this trend line and back to normal, right? Which for most people is not good. To have, let's say $700, $800, $900, less than $1,000 saved is not good, right? That's like one car situation away from, being in a serious issue. That's one flu or COVID or whatever away from being in a serious situation. One hospital bill away from being in a serious situation. It's not good, right? So let's look at a few more pieces of data that is recent. Non-revolving credit. So this would be like mortgage, installment loan, etc. We're at 20.153. So you look, it's not, out of the normal. It's not excessive, right? We've got a couple other points in time where it was much worse than this. 2011, we've got one. We've got one in 2014, 2015. 2020, of course. So non-revolving credit it's high, but it's not like out of whack, right? Here's where things start to get a little bit concerning, is revolving credit. So that means revolving credit cards, this is charge cards, this is credit cards, this is everything that reports as a revolving credit line on your consumer report, is at record highs right now. So what that means is we went through the phase of revolving credit took a really big hit in 2020 when there was also the stimulus check and the unemployment benefits and extended unemployment benefits and all this free money coming in the door, right? So of course, why would you want revolving credit? Now that that's kind of dried up, and it really dried up like Q4 of last year, now we're starting to see the effects. So, okay, now what's starting to happen? What's everyone's solution to that? Well, going and getting credit when they need it, which is the worst time to get it, and it's the time when the banks give you the worst rate, and the banks usually don't want to lend to you. It's when you don't need it that the banks want to give you money. It's when you need it that the banks don't want to give you money. I don't know why it works like that. It's just how it is, right? So, record high amounts of revolving consumer credit. Not good. Last one here is really, really small to see. Okay, so last one here is really, really small to see. This is Federal Reserve consumer credit total And it's just kind of showing you the same thing that we're seeing here, but grouped together and summed, and that's at an all-time high or record high right now. I'll go back to this so we can just leave it on this. So it's clear what's happening is when money was easy and the stimulus checks were flowing, everyone didn't want credit and everything was good. They were trying to go to, the crypto casino, the equities casino, and get some sort of return because they were already concerned with the future. The future was questionable, right? Which is why speculation gets so popular when times are uncertain, right? And so that happened. Now that's dried up. The easy money is dried up and the free money, let's call it, has dried up. And so what we're starting to see now is that people are resorting to revolving credit. Clearly, not enough people have gotten rich off of equities and cryptocurrencies because if they were, they wouldn't really need or want more revolving credit. So this tells you that once again, retail lost. Retail lost with whatever strategy that they had, if there even was a strategy going through COVID, which understandably, it's been something that has been very, very difficult for, I'd say 99% of people. Like nobody planned for this. Nobody could have possibly had a flawless plan going through this. And a lot of people were just kind of taking it as they were going, right? And depending on how this really hit you is, there's a lot of people that I think really moved backwards. And if we look at the change that's occurred from middle class, high earners and low earners, is you see a massive shift happen and the divide got greater once again. So it's like you either got pushed to low earners or you got pushed up into high earners. Billionaires and high net worth individuals, they've had some of their best years over the last 2 years, whereas low income earners have coincidentally had their worst years over the last 2 years. So anyways, I just wanted to share this data with you. Going into 2022, I think you should start to ask some questions. Like, if you didn't get the result that you wanted last year, 2021, take a good hard look at it, right? The good, the bad. Celebrate the good things, the accomplishments that you got and that you hit during the year, and look at the shortcomings and the areas where things didn't work out the way you wanted to, and let's make a new plan. Applying the same things that you did last year that didn't result in what you wanted is not going to magically work this year. It wasn't that, the temperature wasn't right or the stars didn't align for you. Maybe it was the strategy itself or the lack of strategy that affected you in those ways last year. So, common sense would tell us that if those things didn't work last year, let's make changes for this year. Let's dial in that process, because this year I think you're going to really start to see the falling out of a lot of these decisions that occurred at the federal level, the amount of money that was printed, and worldwide. You're going to start to see those chickens coming home to roost. And so it's going to be more important this year more than ever to have a plan and have a strategy that you're implementing to make sure that you are okay through whatever turmoil might happen, right? And so thinking through some worst case scenarios and planning for those, I don't think is a bad idea. I think it's a great idea. Just because you've got that, you've now stretched those muscles in your brain, you've worked out some sort of plan or reaction that you would have towards those situations, and now we can continue to just live your life, but you've got that in the back of your mind, yeah? So I'd love to hear your thoughts about this data. Do you like data like this? Do you not care? What do you think of all this? And then going into 2022, we've got rate hikes on the table from the Fed. They've already announced it. We went from no rate hikes until I think it was 2024 originally, and now we've got 6 scheduled between now and 2023, which is a huge difference. So rate hikes will change the market for at least a week. Those things will shock the markets. You will see blood in the markets. You'll see a down market across equities, across cryptocurrencies, because they now behave like equities. You'll see those assets go down. When there's rate hikes, when there's talk of rate hikes, like we've all seen that now. You can go back and look at those charts and see that historically. So what's your thoughts on all this moving forward? 2022, what's your plan? Does this video help you? Does this video help you maybe look at things differently or look at things in a way that you weren't looking at them currently? And of course, I'd love your support with just clicking the like button. It means so much, and it really gets this video in front of more people, helps get this channel in front of more people. So thank you so much for our loyal subscribers that tune into every single video. I see you guys, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. The Discord is something that we still have. It's free to join still. I think there's about 100 people in there. Absolutely amazing community, tight-knit community. I can't wait to see that as that grows, the influence that core group that we've now got will have to help people that are coming into the community. So if you want more access to me, access to the community, access to in the trench data on what's happening with credit cards, limits, approvals, denials, etc., join the Discord. Completely free. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell notification. Be on the lookout. More videos coming soon. See ya.